Hey everybody, Cliff Ravenscraft here from Podcast Answer Man, and today I am streaming live on Facebook because I want to share with you guys that the hashtag Train with Cliff campaign is back. That's right, full force, it is back. Now, for those of you who don't know what the Train with Cliff campaign is, I will share with you briefly here at the open of this live stream. It is a campaign where I encourage other people out there to get active and to share their physical activity with the world. Now, for me, I made a commitment back in November 2014 to radically change my life. And at the time, I weighed 272 pounds. It was November 14th, 2014. And in fact, I remember recording a podcast episode that day and sharing it with the world. And the title of the episode was called The Day I Decided to Start Living. Now, what I shared with the world that day was that I was going to make a commitment. At that time, I said I was going to work out 6 days a week, every week, for the rest of my life. And here I am, 2 years, 4 months later, and I have maintained that commitment. I have not missed my 6 days a week every week since then, and I don't anticipate ever doing so. Now, with that being said, I want to share with you that about a month into my commitment of working out 6 days a week, I made the decision to also make some lifestyle changes in the food that I eat. I figure if I'm doing all of this stuff to promote health and healing inside of my body, I should probably stop destroying my body by the things that I put into my body. And so I decided that I was going to go back to more natural, clean, healthy foods. If you've ever heard of the types of food that people eat in the Mediterranean part of the world, the Mediterranean people are the longest living people that have ever lived on this earth. And the cool thing about them is it's been shown that the reason why they live as long, the reason why they don't have as much cancer and all these other things that we deal with is because they are not eating the toxic foods that we typically eat. In fact, they're known for eating lean meat, which is mostly chicken or fish. They eat whole grains. They eat beans, fruits, vegetables, and nuts. That's the Mediterranean style food. So I made a decision that's what I was going to start eating. And I did. I cut out a lot of fried foods. I cut out all fried foods. I cut out all processed sugars. I stopped eating breads that were not made of whole grains. And as a result of that, over a very long period of time, I went all the way from 272 pounds all the way down to 198, which is incredible. And I felt so great about that. But the interesting thing, and I want people to know this, that the reason why I made the decision to start working out 6 days a week every week for the rest of my life, and also to start eating healthy, it wasn't so that I could lose all of this weight. It's so much more than that, and had most everything to do with the fact that I want to be healthy. I want to be healthy not just on the outside, but also on the inside. And I'm not talking about just mentally, although I do want to be healthy mentally as well. And having all of this clean eating and healthy exercise does help you mentally as well. Trust me, I know. But I'm talking about internally. What's going on inside of my organs of my body? What's going on inside of my body when it comes to my immune system? This stuff was very important to me, and I became convinced as a result of reading a book called Younger Next Year that if I were to work out 6 days a week, every week for the rest of my life, that I could do things within my power to help ward off and fight off disease, cancer, even ones that I'm genetically predisposed towards. I can do things to either reverse and heal or even prevent. I can't prevent everything. I know that. But by reading this book, I became convinced that I could prevent and reverse so many different symptoms that I was facing in my life. And you know what? After about a year and a half of doing this commitment, when I reapplied for a brand new $1.5 million life insurance policy, they sent the paramedic person to come out to my house and do all this blood work. They drew so much blood, I thought I was going to pass out. They hooked me up to an electrocardiogram, did the EKGs and all that stuff. And oh, by the way, when I took my first life insurance policy like 15 years ago, I was diagnosed at that time. They said, Cliff, you probably want to do something with your cholesterol. We're not going to put you on medicine right now, but you probably need to get this monitored and checked. You're borderline cholesterol problems. You have high blood pressure. They put me on high blood pressure medicine at the time. There's a bunch of other little things that they pointed out, my triglycerides and all these other things. They said, you really need to see your family doctor. You need to get this stuff taken care of. And this was way before I made the decision to change my lifestyle. It took me another 13 years of eating crap food, sitting sedentary behind a computer and all this stuff. Just imagine how much worse my cholesterol was. Just imagine how much worse my blood pressure was. How much worse all the other things. And not to mention the fact that at the time, back in November of 2014, I was feeling sometimes numbness in my toes and in my fingers. And if I would have went to seeing a doctor at the time, they probably would have told me that I had type 2 diabetes and put me on insulin and all that other stuff and had me checking my blood 5 times a day with needles, which I have needle phobia. So anyway, I had all this stuff going on, but I made that commitment November 14th, 2014. I'm going to work out 6 days a week, every week for the rest of my life. And subsequently, I made the decision I'm going to eat healthy and natural foods. So it came time, just a year and a half into it. This was maybe about a year and a half ago. I signed up for a brand new $1.5 million life policy. They ran every single test you can on me. And I came back with the absolute cleanest bill of health that they've seen people at my age. I had no blood pressure issues. I had no cholesterol issues. And by the way, every single morning for the last 2 years and 4 months, with the exception of maybe 2 weeks out of the year, every single morning I have 2 slices of bacon and 2 eggs every single morning without fail. And my cholesterol is perfect. My blood pressure perfect. My heart is perfect. My sugar levels were perfect. Everything perfect because of this commitment to working out and eating healthy. Now, one thing I did a long time ago was I shared with my community that I had hit a plateau. So I started out at 272, right? And I got around to the 250s. And so when I got to 250, I hit this plateau and I'm like, I just can't figure this out. I was drinking Diet Coke, right? So Diet Coke, even though it doesn't have sugar and it doesn't have calories, Diet Coke has artificial sweeteners in it. It produces an insulin result in your body. So when you drink it, your body does start producing insulin. Insulin isn't something just to lower your blood sugar levels, which I knew a whole lot about because at the age of 18, I had been diagnosed with hypoglycemia, and they told me that one day that could turn into diabetes. So I knew all about insulin and blood sugar. What I didn't know is that insulin is a hormone, and it is called the storage hormone. And the reason for that is because if there are excess calories going around through your body, you've consumed calories of any type, and then all of a sudden you have insulin going through your bloodstream, that insulin will take the calories there and store it as adipose tissue. Now, adipose tissue is a fancy word for body fat. It literally takes whatever calories are in your body and it stores it as fat. What I was doing, I'm eating clean, natural, healthy foods. I got these calories in there and I'm chugging down some Diet Cokes here and there. And what it's doing is it's storing all that. And so the only way that I could outdo what was going on there, I'd have to just like burn tons and tons more calories. There were times when I would spend 2.5 hours on a treadmill, for example. It was crazy. And I was just barely getting, seeing anything. And again, this wasn't all about losing weight for me. I was happy. That's why I didn't give up the working out 6 days a week when I hit the plateau. But I did know that it's not healthy for my body frame to carry around an extra 70, 80 pounds. Even at 250, I was still about 70 or 80 pounds overweight, still considered obese by mortality tables and all these other things. So I, not just to look good, but also for health reasons, I wanted to continue to lose weight and break down below that 250. So I eventually quit the Diet Coke, completely cut it out, and whew, the weight fell off like crazy mad. I did hit another plateau at 212, but that's only because I started to introduce some snacking here and there. When I decided to get a little bit more serious and to break the plateau, it was real easy to cut out those sweets and right down I go. 198. I hit 198. And then one of my friends and a good mentor of mine, he says, Cliff, now that you're at 198, you're under 200, I just got to tell you, man, now it gets real hard. And I probably let those words, and I probably even am using these words as a bit of an excuse as to what happened next. What happened next was, by the way, I told you at the beginning, I've maintained my 6 days a week, every week. And I plan on doing that for the rest of my life. And that's a minimum of 45 minutes a day, 6 days a week. I've maintained that. However, over the last 6 months, I had slowly creeped up the scale. All the way back to 235. Now, 235, I mean, gosh, I would have been happy to be at 235 when I was 272. But having been 198 just 6 months ago, 235 is not all that something to be excited about. So I had allowed myself to get to 235. Now, why? What happened? Well, about 6 months ago, I started drinking, and matter of fact, it's been so recent. Hold on, I'll just show you. Hold on, because I'm just pulling out of the trash can, and trust me. Hold on, wait, hold on. Wait. There's more. And I started drinking these things. Yep, I started drinking these things. And when I drank them, by the way, those are Monster energy drinks, okay? Monster energy drinks. When I started drinking those, I was riding my bike outside. 100-mile bike rides. Yes, 100 miles. 9.5 hours of nonstop riding. And I would drink them during my breaks for the caffeine. You know, just like, ooh, I'd love a little caffeine kick. And it didn't really affect me that much because I only drank them when I was on rides. So there are no excess calories at all. My body is efficiently, during a 9.5 hour bike ride, is efficiently burning every single calorie and then some. In fact, there have been times when I actually went on a bike ride, a 100-mile bike ride, and the next day I weighed 2 pounds less. That's how many calories I'm burning during these bike rides. Having a Monster energy drink back then, not a big deal. But the thing is they're addicting. They're freaking addicting. The caffeine in this stuff is so addicting, and the sweetness of it. And so I started drinking them in my daily life. And I started drinking them in the mornings to get that kick in the morning. And the next thing you know, they are as big of an addiction as Diet Coke. And guess what? They have artificial sweetener in it. I did online research, and yes, they produce an insulin result. They kick on the fat storage hormone running through my body, and I was drinking it all day, pretty much converting all of the calories that are not absolutely essential for me to survive into body fat. And so slowly I'm creeping up to 235. Well, here's the other thing, okay? It's not just that. But the thing is that if you have your sugar levels are up here, and I'm looking at the screen, so that near the top, if your sugar levels are at the top, and your insulin kicks in, insulin will bring the sugar levels down, all right? And so every time I drink a Monster, it brings the sugar levels down. And then once I get around here, my body says, I'm hungry, I'm hungry, I'm hungry, I'm hungry, I need to eat. And my body also knows that the quickest way for me to get back up here and feel good is with sugar. And so I started to allow myself to have ice cream once a week. But when I say ice cream, I don't want you to think that I'm just having getting an ice cream and scooping out like a half a cup serving of ice cream, or even 2.5 servings. No, I'm talking a pint of Graeter's ice cream. We're talking like 1,200 calories. And I found myself having that more than once a week. And not only that, but when I go to the movie theaters, not only would I have popcorn, but I'd have a king-size Kit Kat bar. And before I know it, the next thing you know, I'm at restaurants and I'm ordering French fries or fried food, like fried foods again. When did fried foods come back into my diet? I don't even remember that happening. And then pizza started showing up. I started partaking of that pizza a lot more, and I started craving that pizza a lot more. They have this really thick pizza called Jet's Pizza here. It's really thick crust, and they butter the outside of it so that when it cooks, it caramelizes, and it tastes freaking amazing. And next thing you know, I'm eating the same crap I have back before I made all these lifestyle changes. Now, I have maintained my 6 days a week, every week of working out. And it has helped me keep from going all the way back up to 272 pounds. But I'm slowly creeping that way. And I'm like, okay, something's got to change. I need to get back to eating healthy again. So I do want to share two things with you. Number one, I'm on day 9 of a 100-day commitment. And I'm not telling anybody to join me on this one. But I am going to tell you what my 100-day commitment is. But I am going to encourage you to join me on something else. And that is the Train with Cliff campaign. But first, let me tell you about what change I've made recently to eliminate the monster. All right? So here's what I did. 9 days ago, I made a decision. I am going to completely eat clean and healthy for 100 days. Everybody has a different definition of what clean eating is. I'm just going, and I don't care what anybody else's definition is. All I'm going to do is I'm going to share what my definition of what my commitment is for clean eating for 100 days. No sugar substitutes, artificial sugar substitutes, no bread or pasta, and no deep fried foods. Now, I've maintained this. This is my 9th day, and in the first 8 days, I lost 4 pounds. So I happen to know that it was a combination of the cruddy eating that I had gone back to and the monsters that was slowly creeping me back up the scale. A while ago, I created this campaign. I was inspired by a friend of mine in the community. His name's Douglas Boyce III. I would post a post-workout selfie on Instagram. One day, he posted a post-workout selfie and he put hashtag #TrainWithCliff. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I love that. I said, do you mind if I use that? And so I went out and bought the domain. You can go right now, trainwithcliff.com. I told people on my podcast, I said, hey guys, I'm doing this, and all I'm asking you to do is join me. You don't have to work out 6 days a week, every single week for the rest of your life like I am. I would encourage you to consider it, but I do want to encourage you, especially my community, who sit behind a computer most of the day during your work. I want to encourage you to, on a regular basis, get out there and get active. Commit to doing something as far as physical activity. And after you're finished, take a post-workout selfie. In Instagram, in the comment, say what your workout was and put the hashtag #TrainWithCliff. And the cool thing is that when I was really engaged, had my community engaged and doing this with me before, I would encourage them, here's what you do. When you post your post-workout selfie, as soon as it's posted, you'll notice that the hashtag #TrainWithCliff is clickable inside of your comment. Click on it and it will pull up all the other people who are using that hashtag. And what I encourage you to do is to find somebody else on Instagram who has used that hashtag within the last couple days and just put, nice job, congratulations, how inspiring. Just something to acknowledge that those other people are there joining in as well. Well, my friends, that's what I wanted to share with you guys today. I'm super excited to be back into the mindset of not just taking my own health seriously, but I don't know how I got away from the idea of posting these on Instagram and inspiring other people to take action. And so I'm thankful to be back at it. If you're going to join me, if you're going to make a commitment to work out within the next 24 to 48 hours, and then afterwards take a post-workout selfie and put hashtag #TrainWithCliff on Instagram, I'll see it first and foremost, but go ahead and let me know in the comment section below as well, and I'll know to look for you. With that, my friends, it is currently 11:33 in the morning. I have drank this much of my 48 ounces of water so far. I'm going to finish this up, and then I'm going to refill it. And then my wife and I, Stephanie and I, are headed to the gym, and we are going to do chest and triceps workout. And then afterwards, all sweaty, I'm going to post a picture of myself on Instagram. Stephanie might even join me, and I hope to see you there. Talk to you soon. Until next time, I encourage you to take every area of your life to the next level.